we have for you Bicyclemark. If you want to embarrass him, ask him what he's doing last month, or about his boat. We're talking about journalism and how journalists got spied on, arrested, and what was it, teleported in 2009.
Thank you. You get, hello, can you hear me in the booth? You get no kiss from me, Finn, but yeah. Finn was asking me about my boat problems. I don't have any boat problems. Good evening, everyone. I've never had an 11 o'clock slot before, and so this is what it's like. Yeah. I'd like to say hello to everyone here in the room. I guess I did that. And everyone at home, on your computer, hiding in your secret bunkers. I'm very glad you could join us. And those of you in Siberia also, my new friends. My name is often called, or the name they use for me is Bicyclemark. You could also know me as Mark. That's my human name. For those of you who don't know me, I'll briefly, if it's even possible for me to be brief, I'll describe who I am. I'm a guy. I'm a guy who gets applause for things he doesn't deserve applause for. Hey, no. I was trying to explain to someone, what 23, well, in this case 26 C3, I remember my 23, what these crowds are like, and I was like, well, there's certain things they'll absolutely clap for, like if your Mac has a problem, and all right, so I am a American, and you can hear that. It's very hard. No, don't. No more. There'll be an applause sign, and no, stop. And I'm also a Portuguese person. You may be able to tell by my facial features, or you see the Judaism perhaps somewhere, the Moroccanism also in there. It's all part of being Portuguese, so it's good. And I'm a journalist. I am a journalist because I call myself a journalist. That may not be enough for you, and you can just take me off your list of journalists then. But I practice what I call some form of journalism, and I'll admit to you, it's not just to you and you. It's not always the most investigative as it should be. Sometimes I wish I did a better job. But I do some kind of a job, so I call myself a journalist. And that's important because today I'm telling tall tales. And when you write the title, Exciting Tales of Journalists, I come from New Jersey where everybody's really, sarcastic. So if it says exciting tales, you can be sure you're going to fall asleep by the end of this one. No, it's going to be exciting. There's going to be danger. Finn will jump through a hoop, a flaming hoop. Just in case we need. No. All right. So is that enough? I'm a what do we call an independent, a blogger if you want, a podcaster if you prefer, a citizen journalist. They have all these names now. I can't even keep track of what I am. People just tell me what I am, and I go, yes, that's what I am. So, and I bring to you today tales of a journalist spied on, arrested, and deported for one reason, or perhaps more than one reason. I always say one reason, and then I decide, no, there's more. The main reason is I have a lot of friends in journalism. Some of them I kind of grew up with in university, and later on some of us got jobs, some of us didn't. Some of us speak in different places about something they are not always doing. So a few of my friends are in journalism now, and through the magic of the internets, which you all know quite well, this place, I've met other journalists, and sometimes we even meet in real life, and we actually talk. Or other times we just sit at a table and we work on our devices, and we occasionally nod at each other, haha, show a video, keep typing. You all socialize the same way. Well, journalists are starting to catch up to you, but they're not quite there. And one thing I noticed in 2009, as I talked to my journalist friends, interviewed them for my podcast, shameless self-promotion, is that they're out there doing investigative work, important work, about governments, about companies, about people who are being oppressed, beaten down, and they're good journalists. But what I noticed was they don't know much when it comes to basics, you would call it basics, of simple security, or simple, never mind the word security, keeping your ass covered. Yes, keeping your ass covered. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. I didn't write that in a slide. And so I've noticed my friends are getting into problems. And even some people I don't know are getting into problems. Be they arrested, deported, and all these other words that I tried to use. So we'll try to move forward if the computer would allow. That's who am I. That's me like 20 years ago. Yeah. So, did I want to say anything else before we move forward? No? Everybody seated and comfortable? Is this, yeah. Oh, and one of my goals towards the end of this talk, besides telling a few stories and maybe making a few jokes, is I would like to sort of course, make a conclusion that makes you go, ah. So let's see if we can get to the ah, or the hope. You know, the up thing, because I start here and then I go here, that's where you fall asleep, and then you come back, you wake up, and you have inspiration because you were dreaming momentarily during my talk. So, you know, what is a journalist? I kind of went over. I mean, I decided what I do is my brand of journalism. It may not be the perfect brand of journalism. Thankfully, there's lots of brands of journalism out there. So for today's talk, for my talk, and I understand if you don't agree with it, control yourself if you don't, because we have security. A journalist is someone who, well, does the work of reporting, or I can even tolerate a little news analysis, opinion pieces here and there, but really the reporting is what I'm focusing on. And that doesn't necessarily mean, as you know, that you work for a big newspaper or a big media company. It's not that there's that many left anyway, but you could be an independent person, of course, and I'm going to include, if you'll allow me, I'm going to include bloggers. No, okay. I'm really glad, because it's possible, right? A blogger doesn't have to be a journalist. A blogger could be your younger sister who went to a movie yesterday and is complaining about the sticky floors. That's why nobody goes to the movies anymore. The floor is sticky. It is. I haven't gone to the movies in 3 years, but I remember when it was. There's a clock there. Let's not get distracted. Nope. So, and I'm glad because years ago when I said a blogger could be a journalist, people would throw things and then security would get involved. But a blogger could be a journalist, okay? Let's just agree with me, even if you disagree with me, moving forward. I'm going to include them. All right, so let's move. Now that we've established who a journalist is, or for my talk who a journalist is, you can kind of tell when this thing's freezing up, can't you? All right, good. This clock is in a bad place, I can't see anything. I want to talk about the different types of journalists real quick. The biggest group that I want to talk about, and myself, I'm in this group, freelancers. Even if you write for a big newspaper these days, more and more you're not staff, you're a freelancer. And that means, of course, what it sounds like. You're responsible for your own, in many ways, your own destiny and what you want to do. And yeah, you'll get paid once you've produced the work, whatever it may be. And more, be they at big newspapers or idiots like me who run around the world, we're freelancers. And so, up until the day we submit, we're on our own. And that's important. I said that twice already, because it's important. That is one of the largest groups, and especially one of the largest groups that's being under pressure, that's being arrested, that's having trouble all over the world. And as that group grows, so too do the problems, it seems. I've got that group out of the way. I want to go to bloggers. Can we go to bloggers? We can. There's an old friend, Mr. Wolf. That's old though, that's not from 2009. But he was a blogger and he served some time because he wouldn't give up some video. So I'm including bloggers, I'm including podcasters, and that includes the ones who stay right where they are, in their community. They're reporting about their local government, their local, be it a protest, whatever it may be. In those instances, bloggers are journalists. And as people writing about something going on, they run the risk of being picked up, of being spied on, of pissing off a government or a company or whatever it may be. So, bloggers are another group. Here's a group you're not going to like. Well, yeah. Activist journalists. You may have never heard of this or disagree that the two should ever go together. But where I was raised, in the suburbs of New York, we had activist journalists. Actually, you know what? I wasn't alive in the 60s, but I like to pretend I was. And we had activist journalists writing for wonderful